ho, ho. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Story Time by Santa. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these wonderful stories that Santa is going to read to you, your family members, and your children. I hope you have a wonderful time. And if you like, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Santa loves you. Ho, ho, ho. Enjoy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to another edition of Santa Stories. Are you ready? Santa sure is. He's excited. The North Pole Ice Castle. Here we go. I hope you got your hot cocoa ready to go. Once upon a time in the heart of the North Pole, there stood a magnificent ice castle. It was unlike any castle in the world. Its towers gleamed like diamonds under the Arctic sun, and its icy walls shimmered with the colors of the northern lights. Inside, magic filled every corner, and in its heart lived the Ice Queen, kind and gentle ruler who had protected the North Pole for many centuries. The ice castle was where Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves would go for special celebrations, like the first snowfall of the season or the lighting of the Christmas star. It was the place of joy and peace, and the elves loved to visit because the queen always had a warm fire going and cups of cocoa for all. But one winter, something strange began to happen. The snow, usually so soft and gentle, began to fall harder and harder until the North Pole was covered in snowdrifts higher than Santa's workshop. The elves struggled to keep up with the snow, and even the reindeer had trouble pulling the sleigh through such heavy storms. Santa, worried about Christmas, decided to visit the Ice Queen for help. He bundled up in his warmest coat and hopped on his sleigh, with his trusted reindeer leading the way. As they approached the ice castle, they noticed that the air grew colder, much colder than usual, and the once warm glow of the castle was dim. Inside the ice castle, the Ice Queen sat on her throne, looking sad and troubled. Santa approached her gently and asked, "My dear friend, what is troubling you? The North Pole seems colder than ever, and Christmas is just around the corner." The Ice Queen sighed deeply. "Santa, I have lost something very important. Deep inside my heart, I carry the warmth that keeps the North Pole in balance. But lately I have felt the weight of worry and fear, and my heart has grown cold. Without warmth in my heart, the magic of the North Pole is fading. The storms will only grow worse." Santa thought for a moment and said, "You have always taken care of the North Pole, but now it's our turn to help you. Sometimes even the strongest among us need to ask for help. What can we do to help you find that warmth again?" The Ice Queen smiled weakly and said, "I don't know, Santa. I feel so alone in my worries, and I have forgotten what brings me joy." Santa nodded and had an idea. "Let me tell you something. The warmth you're missing isn't gone forever. It's hidden inside the hearts of those who care about you. Your friends, the elves, and all the children around the world who believe in the magic of Christmas. Let us remind you of that joy." With that, Santa called all the elves and the reindeer to the ice castle. They gathered around and began to sing Christmas carols. filling the grand hall with the most beautiful sounds of laughter and cheer. Even the reindeer jingled their bells in time with the music. The sound of their voices, full of hope and love, began to melt the cold air around the Ice Queen. As the music filled the castle, the Ice Queen felt something stir inside her. It was the warmth of the friendship, kindness, and love. Tears of joy filled their eyes, and she smiled brightly for the first time in weeks. The castle began to glow again, and outside the storms began to calm. "You see," Santa said gently, "sometimes we can't fix everything by ourselves. But when we lean on our friends and the people who care about us, we find strength and warmth we didn't know we had." The Ice Queen stood up, her heart now glowing with warmth and light. "Thank you, Santa. You've reminded me of the most important lesson of all. We are never truly alone, especially when we let others in to help." With the Ice Queen's heart restored, the magic of the North Pole returned. The snow softened, the skies cleared, and Christmas could go on as planned. Santa and the elves worked tirelessly to prepare for the big day, but now they knew they had the Ice Queen's magic to help them. On Christmas Eve, as Santa flew across the world delivering gifts, the ice castle glowed brighter than ever, a beacon of light and warmth in the cold Arctic night. And deep inside, the Ice Queen kept the lesson of that day close to her heart. When we share our burdens with those who care, we find the warmth we need, no matter how cold the world may seem. And from that day forward, the North Pole Ice Castle was known not only for its beauty, but for the love and the kindness that it represented. Every Christmas, children would imagine it glowing in the night, filled with joy, laughter, and the spirit of togetherness. Wow! Wasn't that awesome? Are you ready for the second one? Santa's Christmas Countdown. Here we go. I hope your cocoa is going down smooth. It was a snowy December evening at the North Pole, just 10 days before Christmas, and the excitement was buzzing through Santa's workshop. The elves were working extra hard to finish the toys, and the reindeer were getting ready for their big flight. But this year something was a little different. Santa had decided to start a new tradition, a special countdown to Christmas. And everybody was eager to see what surprises he had planned. Santa had a new idea, and everybody was excited. Each day leading up to Christmas, Santa would reveal a new challenge or task for the elves, reindeer, and even Mrs. Claus. He called it Santa's Christmas Countdown, and the goal was to spread as much joy and kindness as possible during those 10 days. On the first day of the countdown, Santa gathered everybody in the workshop and said, "Today's task is simple. Make something extra special. But there's a twist. You won't know who it's for until later. I'll surprise you who gets each gift." The elves giggled and rushed to their stations, crafting toys and treats with more care and creativity than ever. Some made teddy bears with colorful scarves, others built toy trains that chugged along the tracks, and one group even made a magical snow globe that played Christmas carols. They didn't know who would receive these gifts, but they worked with all their hearts, knowing that each toy would bring joy to someone special. As the first day of the countdown ended, Santa made his way around the workshop, picking up each of the finished gifts. Then with a wink he said, "Now it's time for the surprise. Every elf will receive a gift made by another elf, because even those who spend all year giving deserve something special too." The elves gasped with joy as they exchanged gifts, and the workshop was filled with laughter and excitement. Even Mrs. Claus received a beautiful hand-stitched blanket from the elves, which made her smile from ear to ear. The countdown continued, and each day brought a new task that taught them an important lesson. On the second day, Santa asked everybody to think about how they could help someone in need. The elves quickly realized that while they were busy making toys, some of their friends, like the snowman and the animals outside, could use some help staying warm in the cold. So they bundled up and went outside to knit scarves for the snowman and built cozy shelters for the woodland creatures. The reindeer helped too, using their strong hooves to clear paths through the deep snow. By the end of the day, the North Pole was not only bustling with Christmas preparations, but also filled with warmth and kindness. On the 5th day of the countdown, Santa introduced the Gratitude Hour. For 1 whole hour, everybody in the North Pole had to take a break from their work and think about all the things they were grateful for. The elves sat together sharing stories of their favorite moments throughout the year. They realized that the magic of Christmas wasn't just about making toys or delivering presents. It was about the love and happiness that they felt when they worked together and supported each other. As the days passed, Santa's Christmas countdown became more and more meaningful. Each challenge brought out the best in everyone, reminding them that Christmas wasn't just a day, it was a feeling that they could share all season long. Finally, it was Christmas Eve, the last day of the countdown. The workshop was nearly ready, the sleigh was packed with presents, and the elves and the reindeer gathered for Santa's final task. Santa stood before them, smiling warmly, and said, "Today is the most important day of all. Today's task is to remember the true spirit of Christmas. It's not about the gifts or the decorations, but about the kindness we show one another. I want you all to spend time together doing something kind for someone else, whether it's giving a hug, offering a helping hand, or just sharing a smile." The elves and the reindeer nodded eagerly, and they set off to spread Christmas cheer in every corner of the North Pole. Some elves helped others finish last-minute toys, while others made sure the reindeer's harnesses were perfectly polished. Mrs. Claus baked a batch of gingerbread cookies for everyone to enjoy, and Santa himself took time to sit with each elf, thanking them personally for all their hard work. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Santa's sleigh was ready to go. But before he climbed aboard, he gathered everyone one last time and said, "You've all done something incredible. Over the last 10 days, you've shown that Christmas is about more than just one night. It's about joy and kindness and the love we share each day. I'm so proud of each and every one of you." The elves cheered, the reindeer stamped their hooves, and with a great whoosh, Santa's sleigh took off into the night sky. As he flew across the world delivering presents to children everywhere, he knew that the magic of the countdown would stay with them long after Christmas had passed. And so As the final minutes of Christmas Eve ticked away, Santa's Christmas countdown came to an end. But the lessons of kindness, gratitude, and togetherness stayed in the hearts of everyone at the North Pole. And from that year on, the countdown became a tradition that the elves and the reindeer looked forward to as much as Christmas itself. Because they had learned that the real magic of the season wasn't in the gifts that they made, but in the love and the kindness that they gave. Wow, isn't that amazing, ladies and gentlemen? The power of creating joy, happiness, and positive memories. Santa loves you. See you on the next episode.